Normally, video games can settle into a reputation. What do I mean? Whether the game is good or bad, the majority of the community can settle that it's good or bad. Like they can eventually decide that, okay, this game is considered good, this game is considered bad. And for WWE games, that was normally the case. However, in 2007, the next installment of SmackDown vs. Raw series did not get that luxury, because THQ and Yuke's decided to go with a gameplay choice that to this day is the most controversial choice in any WWE game. On one side, people love it. On the other, they think the series was going into the wrong direction. We're talking about SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, the first WWE game that was pretty much on every single console at that time, and the WWE game that fans still can agree on. Now, normally I would either start this with the gameplay or probably like a news article, but to talk about this game, we have to address the elephant in the room before we even talk about it. And that elephant, and that elephant is Chris Benoit. So obviously in the year 2007, even prior to the game, unfortunately, there was a horrible thing that happened involving Chris Benoit and his family. I don't think there's really need to bring it up. We all know what happened. Even people who don't even watch WWE knew what happened. It was widespread news. That's what happened in the year 2007. I bring this up because obviously Chris Benoit was supposed to be in the game, and he was probably supposed to be a major part in the story mode, which we will get into. But because of the events that happened, they had to completely scrap him. Like they had to completely remove him. Any mention, anything related to him, completely gone. This was not a case of, oh, his model is still in the file or whatnot. They had to completely remove him. So because of that, this game was in a kind of a weird situation because the majority of stuff was done because the cycle in which these games were coming out, most of the game was done by the summer, and they were just bug testing until the game released. Because of the unfortunate situation I had with Chris Benoit happened in the summer, it was really hard for them to course correct whatever they were going to do with the game. So the game just suffered because of that. It just, obviously you just can't talk about this game without talking about Chris Benoit. I bring it up because normally there's a rumor going around that the original cover of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 was supposed to be Undertaker, John Cena, and Chris Benoit. The reason why people suggest this because Chris Benoit was supposed to become the ECW champion at the Night of Champions event against CM Punk, but that match never ended up happening, so he gave it to John Morrison, because the whole point of the cover is supposed to represent the three brands: Raw, SmackDown, and ECW at the time. And obviously Undertaker would represent SmackDown, John Cena would have represented Raw, and Chris Benoit would represent ECW. So there was always a rumor going around that was supposed to be the original cover. They had to replace with Bobby Lashley, even though at the time it didn't make any sense because they were supposed to represent ECW. Bobby Lashley was already a Raw superstar at the time. However, I would like to put in my theory. I don't think Chris Benoit was originally supposed to be on the cover anyway, because I just think they were this cover was just heavily influenced on this picture, which was the original Night of Champions, Vengeance Night of Champions pay-per-view poster before Undertaker dropped the title to Edge. So I think they were really just inspired by this. That was just my theory. So that's where I think this cover idea came from. Again, we will never know for certain. We will never really know the direction of where this game was going to go. But I believe this cover was specifically based on this because this was part of not only the Night of Champions pay-per-view poster, but also there was like a WWE magazine at the time just talking at a whole spotlight based on for Undertaker, Bobby Lashley, and John Cena. I think that was essentially the reason why they went with they decided to they were inspired by the Vengeance Night of Champions poster for SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. So there, I just wanted to bring that up because there was always a rumor going around that Chris Benoit was supposed to be on the cover. I don't think that was the case at all. That's just my personal opinion. With that said, we're going to actually start with the cut content because I feel like it's a lot more relevant to start off this, especially now that we know what happened with Chris Benoit, because obviously one of the major things was the removal of Chris Benoit, which was the Chris Benoit leftovers, because you can't always remove everything, but they sure as hell tried. Essentially, while they completely removed his model and his entrance animation, and there's basically like there is no file that has any type of picture of Chris Benoit, his move, the crippler crossface, still remains in the game. And obviously have to use a cheat device to access it. So just to show you guys real quick. With Chris Benoit being in it. I mean, well, this is obviously a creative wrestler, but he's using the crippler crossface. You cannot actually use this move in the game by normal means, but just to show you once again him using it. Yep. So just wanted to show you that. And also, there was actually new entrances that was for cut wrestlers. So there's 4 preset entrances that either were new or reanimated, which include RVD, Shelton Benjamin, Paul London, and Brian Kendrick. Now, RVD left the company earlier that year. Shelton Benjamin, I don't know why they didn't put him in. Paul London and Brian Kendrick will obviously be a part of SmackDown versus Raw 2009, the following game. And then other cut moves was Jericho's Walls of Jericho, even though, so the funny thing is, even though Jericho did not return to November, I guess they still decided to leave his move in from SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. It's just funny how that kind of worked out. I mean, it was cut, but it's like it's in the file of the game while Jericho's still in there. And the hit and call names for the following people: Justin Roberts, a non-playable character, and then Eddie Guerrero, Sergeant Slaughter, and Jim Neidhart. Now, I must stress those 3 names are actually in the game, but they're exclusive for PSP, and that's actually a great segue into our next part, which is this was the first WWE game to be literally on every single system. What do I mean? So, the Xbox 360, PS3, the Wii, the PS2, the PSP, and yes, even the DS. It was on every, except besides PC, it was literally on every single system available at the time. Obviously, the marketing was mainly from the Xbox 360. We'll talk about that. The Wii was a completely different experience from the other consoles, but for the most part, Xbox 360, PS3, and the PS2, and to a certain extent, the PSP were essentially the same game. The Wii and DSs are a completely different experience. The Wii, obviously, because of the motion control, and the DS was just a completely different game entirely with a very smaller roster. So there's that. And just to showcase to you guys what I am referring to about the marketing, they actually first they rectified a mistake that they did the first time around with SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, where the back of the game case was the same through the Xbox 360, PS2, and the PSP. This one, they made sure they corrected it, as I'm showing you right here, the Xbox 360 version, and then the PS2 version. As you can see, graphically, they are completely different. So, just one more time, PS2, and then the Xbox 360. They made sure they did not make the same mistake twice in terms of the marketing. Now, where is... one second. Don't know why it's not popping up. There we go. Oh, wait. I meant to do, my apologies. The reason why I talked about all the console, because there are completely different console differences between all the versions. So essentially, the Xbox 360 and PS3 are the main versions. However, the PS3 is the only one that have a first-person point of view. What do I mean? Let's show you. Let me show you. I don't know why they couldn't put in the Xbox 360 version. So as you can see, it's literally just, I think if you would have clicked R3, you could get in this first person mode. I mean, it's cool back in 2007. Obviously, in the current games, you can control the camera now to pretty much wherever you want. I just don't understand why it was specifically, and that was basically the only specific feature that was in the PS3 version. Otherwise, there's no difference between this and the Xbox 360 version besides graphical reasons, which we'll get into in a little bit. So besides that, yeah, Create a Wrestler. The reason why I say the Xbox 360 is the definitive version to play is most likely because of this. For some reason, the PS3 can only handle 32 layers. So it's pretty much equal to the PS2 Wii and the Wii. They can only handle 32 layers for Create a Wrestler. The PSP can only handle 16, while the Xbox 360 can handle 64. Now, again, I think this is at a time where either they just couldn't, they really didn't know how to develop for the PS3, so they just wanted to play it safe with the 32 layer. But yeah, the Xbox 360 had the 64 layers, which is actually the version we're going to be playing today. Anyway, even though as a kid, I played it on the PS2, and then years later, I actually had the 360. This is actually my downloaded copy on my Xbox 360 that I bought, because back then you were able to buy digital games. The audio, obviously PS3 lacks commentary, so it has to blast the licensed music, which you'll eventually get into. And the exclusive characters, Eddie Guerrero, Jim Neidhart, and Sergeant Slaughter. Now, unlike SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, there's no way you can access these people through the whole PSP thing. They decided to completely lock them into the PSP version. However, the data still exists for these characters with cheat device in the PS2 versions. The models are replaced with John Cena. So they are there, but the model is just John Cena. But their moveset and audio file still exists. Why did they? I mean, I guess it was a incentive for people to buy the PSP version, but it's like you're basically locking these people out of 3 characters on a arguably the least sold system out of all of them. Because if you really think about it, the PSP compared to the DS was blowing out the water in terms of sales. So did the PS2. So did the Wii. So did the PS3 and Xbox 360. So the console with the least amount of sales or audience to is the one that they gave 3 additional characters to. It is what it is. And then, like as I said, the Wii version is a completely different version. My next door neighbors had the Wii version, while I had the PS2 version. So basically, he would come over my neighbors would come over my house to play the PS2 version. I would actually go over there to play the Wii version. The Wii version's fun. It's different. It's not that it's bad. It's just it's very different. Obviously, they use the Wii remote. The 24/7 mode is completely gone. It's like this weird season mode thing where you're going around the map. Obviously, less match types. It was called main event mode. That's what it was called. So that is essentially the differences for SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. I forgot to show you this article because they thought they were going to delay the game for Chris Benoit, but that did not end up happening. It still got released in November. So I will give them credit where they were still able to release the game despite what happened, but it did get affected, and we'll talk about that in 24/7 mode. Just some pre-release stuff. So I always thought this was interesting. I distinctly remember watching this on YouTube back in the day. With this footage, I do remember that yellow bar. So essentially, the July 13th version of this game, they didn't have the bars that are in the final version, and also it has like reversal. Like you're gonna see yourself. We're gonna mute that. You guys are gonna see it yourselves in a second. And I can't really tell which version this is, although from what I could tell, this was probably an early PS3 version based on the graphics I'm looking at. A very early PS3 version, or even PS2. You see that reverse thing that is not present in the final game. So yeah, it's like about 5 minutes long if you guys are interested. So shout out to Miss Chaos for that. And then the German TV preview. Basically, the key difference is there's specific commentary for THQ people that have nothing to do with Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler. So it's just interesting watch, and the UI is completely different. It's from 2007, and then we could just watch it right here. It says I'm at 310. So you see right here on top, this is exactly the user interface from the HUD from SmackDown's Brawler 2007, which you were playing yesterday. Just wanted to show the difference. I just wanted to show off the differences that was from the pre-build to what we eventually got in the final version of this game. So now, since we got through all of that, I figured it was best to start off this way, get out the cut content, because again, you really can't talk about this game without talking about Chris Benoit. So we had to get that out the way. With that said, we can now move on to the game and essentially the main focus point of this, which was the fighting style. So those who are unaware, the biggest difference from this game compared to every other game is the developers decided to classify the wrestlers into two fighting styles categories. When you're in a match, you can decide which one is the primary one. So the main ability of that you can use, and then you can still use the secondary abilities for the other fighting styles. So just to show, we're not gonna watch the movie, I just want to show off the list of fighting styles: Powerhouse, Technical, High Flyer, Brawler, Submission, Dirty, Showman, and Hardcore. So to demonstrate what I'm talking about, we're just going to randomize. First off, we're going to do a Brawler, and should we do Mickey James? Sure, why not? Actually, no. Why not just pick John Cena? Why not just do that? To demonstrate this, John Cena is both a Brawler and a Showman. So even though we're going to be primarily focusing on the brawling ability, we'll get to Showman. He has the secondary ability for a Showman. And to streamline picking a title, you can just click on the start button, and if they already have the championship, you can just defend it. So in this case, we're going to do that. And we're going to fight Randy Orton. He's Dirty and a Showman as well. And yes, they have updated arenas for this era, and ECW is included, but we'll get to them eventually. We're going to keep entrances on just to show you the graphical difference from the year before. And I mean, they took a big step. And yes, the entrance music I had to cut off due to copyright reasons. Just want to just quickly show off the entrances. And I believe if I hit R3, can I? No, I think the belt, I'm trying to see. The John Cena was stop moving. Yeah, unfortunately, they already took out the spinning feature. Because I believe at this point anyway, they removed the actual spinning from the belt itself. So I'm going to eventually show you guys a comparison video of all the different versions of this game. So again, for the most part, the PS3, if you're not really paying attention, the PS3 and Xbox 360 are actually, they do look visually different, but if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't notice it, but I'm going to show you guys in a video. And then to just quickly show off Randy Orton. And they look great. They updated the entrance. He didn't become the Viper yet, so he still has Burn in My Light as his entrance. Then you get the idea of Randy Orton. And yes, the title is on the line. See, different loading screen now. It has a brief just showcasing bios of the superstars, which I always thought was cool as a kid, just to look at them. And yes, the crowd is still, you can fight in the crowd, but this will be the last game you can do that. So in terms of gameplay differences, the overall gameplay differences, the biggest difference now, you can free run. You're not running into one direction by just holding the L1 button, because the finisher tab, actually the finisher got switched to the Y button or triangle instead. You can now freely run in any direction. So for a brawler, one of his abilities is a combo, which I was about to do, but he interrupted it. Combo striking. One of the cool things now, yes, you can actually get out of off the control. Even though I think some of them you could, but not all of them. See how this combo, this is specifically for brawlers only. And then one of the main ones for the brawler is the ground and pound, but he reversed it. Or you can pretty much just beat the living hell out of your opponent. And they're in two different spots, from the front and the back. And now, since I already have enough for his fighting style, instead of storing, so the biggest difference here now, instead of storing finisher, you actually store the special ability of the fighting style. So technically speaking, you only have one finisher you can do per, instead of storing one and holding one, you only have one now as a finisher, which was, I mean, a drawback to some people, but I think it was interesting, a nice change of pace. You have to now really think about when to hit your finisher. I'm trying to wait for the perfect opportunity to use my ability. And to use the ability for mostly all of them is to hold the right bumper, or R1 for the PlayStation, and then hit Y, which I'm about to do right now. I believe this was called Rec Shop. So basically, my strikes cannot be reversed, and any strikes that he tries to do on me, I can reverse back. So essentially, yeah, I can strike as much as I want. He cannot stop me. See how I just automatically reversed? I didn't hit any of the buttons. And that, for the most part, is a brawler. Let's try to win this match and we'll move on to the next one. So part of the reason why people did not like, I guess I should talk about why people didn't like it, because essentially certain regular moves that anyone could do in the previous game are now locked to these specific fighting styles. So again, the ground and pound only for a brawler. A striker, you can only do the combos for a striker. I am on the side of, I like this. I played SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 probably the most. If it wasn't for SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and the original SmackDown vs. Raw 08 is my most played one of the series, for the SmackDown vs. Raw series, I never had an issue with it. It made the game feel different, and there's a reason to go back to it and play it. Did it limit the superstars? Yeah, but it kind of made sense for them. For example, obviously John Cena should be doing any high flying moves, so there's no point of even even the idea of him having assigned springboard attacks. Doesn't make any sense. So I understand the direction that they went with it, and for most part, superstars acted the way they should have. Oh, Radio Orton's really, the AI has definitely been improved, so that's the other thing. The SmackDown Raw 2007, for the most part, was a fine game, but the biggest criticism was the AI. The default difficulty, the AI kind of sucked. They basically did nothing even with Legends difficulty, or they really didn't do enough to have a good wrestling match. Even you had basically adjust the AI slider, but right out the gate, at least the AI is slightly better in putting up more of a fight compared to 07. And as you can see, the crowd is definitely improved as well. Now it's their second year on the Xbox 360 and next gen consoles. Pretty much now everyone, not just the front people, pretty much all of the crowd in the front row, all the way in the back, has full character models instead of just cutouts. And then now Cena has the STF as a finisher, even though it's a rope break. So that sucks. Hopefully this is it. If not, I'll just quit out. We go to the next fighting style. There we go. At least I'm still champion. I'm going to try to pick the superstar that the fighting style is first for, so it makes more sense. Like if we pick Triple H, he's probably a powerhouse. You know, as I said, Bobby Lashley, even though it's supposed to represent ECW, and it's a cool little thing. It shows that you're still the champion, even though he was a Raw superstar by the time the game came out. Powerhouse, I guess we can do. Now we'll just normal match. I don't know. We'll just do. Oh, a tables match. Why not? We'll try to pick. We'll do a Showman a little later. We'll pick Kane. Yeah, why not? And we're gonna be facing Shawn Michaels as Showman, and he has two different attires. The bottoms are DX. We'll just use his regular one. We'll pick SmackDown at the arena. And also, these are the final games to have all of the original SmackDown, Raw, and ECW arenas before they went HD. So if you like these designs, the Fist, the Raw, Titantron, these are the final games that have it. In terms of the series, unless there's like some special unlocks. So thing with Powerhouse, the biggest thing that they gave them, that they took away, is the strong Irish grapple for everyone. So I am allowed, and plus now the Irish whip is the B button instead of holding R1 and A. Now it's just to be, again, Irish whip. You can you're the only person now, if you're a powerhouse, you can do strong Irish whips. Another one is they can't do a strong grapple on you unless they weaken you first. So if he tries, so he's not going to try to do a small grapple, he's going to do ultimate control though. So he's smart. Oh no, actually I think that's technical. I'm saying that wrong. So the thing, Powerhouse now, essentially they can't do no grapples on you. So if he tries, I'm gonna see if Shawn Michaels smart enough. Nope, he's gonna. I am now immune, and now he can't grapple me. Not only are his punches nothing, and now he can't grapple me. See? I'm not hitting the reverse button, so you're pretty much invincible until then. And unfortunately, he doesn't. I mean, I think Kane is a, yeah. Since like I said, he can't use the main ability of the brawler if you don't have it positioned first. But since he is a brawler as well, you can still use it. So that's part of the reason why I like it. Because when you create your wrestler, you can now really make kind of like the perfect hybrid wrestler. Submission and high flyer, brawler high flyer, cool stuff like that. I had no issue with it. I'm just gonna do this again so he can't really touch me, so I can just probably put him through the table. There we go. And now, since you don't have a finisher, the easiest way is to just put him through that, but he reversed. Or you can do this instead, and you grab him. Wait, why isn't... Did they change the ultimate control? Normally you just hit... Did they change how you do ultimate controls? I gotta look that up then. I think they changed it. Normally you just hit the R3 button. Oh, Undertaker's here. Thanks for helping me out. Yes, this was at the time where the Brothers of Destruction briefly returned, so it makes sense why Undertaker would come out. You know, he's not doing anything. Huh. I gotta figure out. Huh. I'm hitting R3, but the ultimate control is not working, so how do I initiate ultimate control now? Is it... If that does that... Oh, I think it might be... I gotta check something now. I knew it. So they moved... I see what happened. They moved the ultimate controls into the moveset itself, so some people have it and some people don't. So here I am. I'm trying to put them through the table. I guess either they moved it to one of the grapple positions. I'm about to test it out because I flicked my stick to the right, and now I was able to get that choke slam. Hold up. Now you can't do nothing, so I can now experiment. Okay. Excuse me, my apologies. Why did that not work? Okay, that's interesting. Let me see. Huh, that is definitely interesting. Because when I hold it this way, it automatically is a ultimate control grapple. You're not injured enough or something? Like, come on. And then I was gonna do my finisher, but he stopped me. Stopped me. Let's try that again, shall we? And yeah, you really gotta be quick about it. It's only a small time. There we go. And that's pretty much just a powerhouse. Normally powerhouses and brawlers go hand to hand. I feel like. Kind of like the perfect superstar right there. No, not a rematch. We're not doing that. Come on. We are not doing a rematch. But yeah, I'm in the camp. I like this. Again, there's a reason. I know. I mean, they listen to the majority of the fan, or half of the fan feedback, and they course corrected with the next game, where you can essentially, for spoilers, you can essentially use any of those abilities for any superstar. I think you have like 6 each, and you can pick whatever you want for whatever superstar. So I mean, it made sense. I guess what is next? I guess we'll do a ladder, and if we're doing a ladder, we're gonna do a high fly or a technical. Kenny Dykstra, nah. We need the best representation of a high flyer. We'll do Rey Mysterio. Actually, why not pick the returning? I know the perfect person to pick. The returning. Where are you? Jeff Hardy. He's also hardcore, so it kind of works. We are going to face Triple H. Why not? And we're actually putting him as his DX gear. So obviously, high flyers, their biggest ability. Even though, so I think this was a mistake for me to pick ladder because I can't use their. Actually, no, we're not gonna pick. We can't pick high flyer. I know that sounds crazy. There's a specific reason why. Now that I thought about it, we're going to use a technical superstar, and I think the best technical superstar is MVP to use, who made his debut in this game. And we're going to put the United States title on line. Maybe Triple H has the opportunity to finally win that title. We'll pick the Royal Rumble. And we're going to keep the entrance on. Like, I always liked MVP's entrance and the way they captured it so perfectly on their first try, too. So that's always nice. on their first try, they was able to do it. And yes, it's also the video game debut of CM Punk. So in a few wrestling, so I actually went to the So fun fact, I actually went to the SmackDown event because I live in Philadelphia. I actually went to the SmackDown taping before Chris Benoit's, because they were taping SmackDown and ECW at the same time back in the day. SmackDown was obviously live. Well, not live. It was taped on Tuesday, and ECW was actually live at 10 o'clock. So I saw Chris Benoit's second to last match. He teamed up with CM Punk, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, their opponents was Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvan. It was a tag team match. I did witness Chris Benoit's second to last match. It's so crazy. A week later, I would have never thought what happened would have happened. Like, week before, I saw him live, team up with CM Punk in Philadelphia, and then what happened. Yes, that was the same week after Vince McMahon did the whole limousine explosion, so we never got that storyline out of it. We never saw the resolution of that due to the real life situation of Chris Benoit. But I just wanted to show off MVP's entrance. And Triple H entrance is more or less the same, just looks slightly better. So for a technical superstar, again, normally it's best pair with a high flyer due to the ability. So, because the one thing a high flyer does not have is outside dives, which never made any sense to me. They could have just gave it to. I guess they wanted to give a technical superstar something. So essentially, a technical superstar, I believe you can't. One of the main abilities is that they can't do a strong grapple on you. You automatically reverse it. Let's see. Yep, you automatically reverse a strong grapple unless you're already in one of your body parts in yellow. Another thing is you can actually do the pullback. So, for example, again, I mean, I understand why people are mad at this, but again, it does make them feel unique. So you can do a Irish whip and then pull them back. Only, yes, something simple as that, a technical superstar is the only person that can do it. What else is MVP? He's a technical superstar and a showman, right? Well, I guess I know one way to find out. I'm just gonna use this technical stars, and the last thing is the diving. Is it the running dive or just corner dive? I believe it's the running dive, which is funny because I don't believe MVP ever dived a day in his life. Whoops. We're about to test that out. Could have swore I hit the right trigger. And now Triple H is doing the ground and pound. I've always liked this. I wish they would bring something like this back. I understand why they wouldn't. People will probably spam the hell out of this online. Even though I don't play online in the current WWE game, so it's one of those things that 08 introduced. And yes, also it's a submission. You know, I was trying to hold that off for the submission person, which I think is literally only like 2 people, and they got the whole entire game by default. Now that I think about it. All right, it might be 3, unless Ric Flair's counted. So essentially, oh wait, yeah, you see, of course Triple H would do that while I'm in midair, but I still caught him. I don't know if he has the running one though. Let me see. If he has the running one, that's fine. But let's see. No, they don't have the running one. They just have the regular outside dive. I never got to really show off the ladder mechanic. That's probably the reason why I picked this match in the first place. And I think about it because 07, I tried to do the Money in the Bank, and that match was hectic because the AI sucked in that game. Again, every game has its faults. People I know praise 2007. I like it too, but the AI kind of sucked in that game. Now looking back at it. So now we're about to activate, which I already did. Even though you don't notice it yet, essentially now it's technically sound, even though it doesn't show it, which I think is a cool thing. They won't show until after it's all done. I reverse every single thing. They can't touch you. Then I see now it shows it. That just now let you know that it's over. But if you're a technical superstar, that is the ability. You can essentially reverse everything. So like it's just cool stuff that these don't have. Like that would be cool if they have add some of these abilities back in the modern games. That would make the gameplay more interesting, especially because this is more of the hybrid and arcade. They didn't go like they didn't swing all the way simulation or swing all the way arcade. This is pretty much the hybrid approach. And now those, since the current games are technically that's where they're at the moment, I don't see a problem as to why they can't bring some of these ability stuff back. So I wanted to show this off. I couldn't show off last time. Again, getting the belt down. And I love that is showing the undisputed title, despite the fact that it's not even in the game anymore. So I find it absolutely hilarious. I believe it does show the title if you actually, well, no, it doesn't, because it proved that it doesn't. Despite the fact that the United States title, here it goes, just proved me wrong. Despite the fact that I'm defending the United States title, Triple H, if he was smart, he would have just hit me. And we're just gonna do the same thing again, and then we'll just call it for a technical. I love the idea that despite the fact that I'm defending the title, they don't even when was the first game to properly have this correct title? I think it was SmackDown versus Raw 2011. I'm not 100% sure. I only know that because of the video I made with Chris Jericho and The Miz. Yes, even though I'm the United States, even though that I'm like 90% sure and that belt is not in the game, but I'll double check. Despite the fact that that version of the title is not in the game, I'm like 90%. Yes, Ashley's also in this game. How could I forget? And he had the audacity to pick up the United States title. I don't think I ever noticed it as a kid, though. That's funny. I don't think, see, my kid brain, I never processed when I was taking down the belt that wasn't the correct title. Huh. One of my favorite video games of all time. Well, first of all, thank you for stopping by Unbroken Flame. If you're wondering why I'm even streaming SmackDown versus Raw 2008 in the first place, it's part of a 25-day event where we're looking at all of the main WWE games just to see how we got to the current game 2K26. So we're now on day 8, I guess. I've been streaming for over a week, every day for a week now. So we're on day 8 with SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. What is your memory of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008? Again, this is basically the most divided WWE game in history. You either love it or hate it. I consider myself a 08 apologist, so I think it's fine. I guess we'll just do a normal submission. That means we had to go with the submission person. The best person to do it is Finley. See, I always thought it was like only 3 people who were submission people in this game. It's off the top of my head, it was CM Punk, Bret Hart, and I believe Ric Flair, but I totally forgot Finley was one. Let me see. Am I losing my mind? Isn't Ric Flair a submission artist? I know Bret Hart is. I don't know about Ric Flair. No, he's a showman. Huh. That's interesting. I love 07. Again, I actually have no issue with 07. It doesn't, so again, I love 07 just because of that soundtrack. That soundtrack in the original SmackDown vs. Raw soundtrack made my taste in music. the original SmackDown vs. Raw, I like the music, but the 07 solidified my taste in music. If it wasn't, think so. And again, I always enjoyed the game. I always used to remember. I think 07, 2006. I guess I was still in elementary school. I'm trying to remember the timeline. I would always come home to quickly do my homework and jump on season mode. I remember I was fighting the Big Show for the ladder match for the WWE title with my created wrestler on the Raw brand. Just such good memories. And then GM mode, the best version of GM mode, because they added those storyline writers thing. I completely passed CM Punk, didn't I? As I'm talking to you. And we'll pick, actually, might as well just pick 2 submission artists to make this match a tad bit more interesting. We'll pick Finley. Like I said, so there's only 3 submission people in the guy. Obviously, there was supposed to be a 4th person, cough, cough, Chris Benoit, but he's not in the game. So at least it would have been 4 people who were submission artists. How about now, actually, in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, wow, it's very lacking. We're missing one major person that is not in the game. So. There's no need to watch the entrance. It's not really special with CM Punk. It was just, I mean, it is his first debut in the game. Again, were you a fan of the fighting style? That's my question. Love the introduction to each game. Also, I believe all titles were unlocked when you bought it. Also, 07 Elimination Chamber. Yeah. I mean, ever since the Chamber debut in what was it? Here Comes the Pain. The Chamber has been in pretty much every match as far as I remember. I don't recall it ever being taken out. Because normally the Chamber was in the year's arena that it was in. I believe it was still in New Year's Resolution, so there was no reason for them to take it out. Even though I didn't play the Chamber in 07 in yesterday's stream, I'm like 90% sure it was in the game. We were focused on the Money in the Bank ladder match. And yes, we're going to be touching on ECW when we get to the hardcore fighting style, because obviously it just makes so much sense saving. But the submission fighting style, my creative wrestler, I always had him as submission and brawler. I cannot talk. God, Finley is just wailing on me. He's not even a brawler too. That's funny. He's a submission artist and he's dirty. But 07 soundtrack. Yep. Again, went on a little rant yesterday. It blows my mind. 3 Days Grace, right? Say they have Riot and Anima, I Have Become. You know what's also on that soundtrack that they decided to use? Never Too Late. Why couldn't they if they would have put Never Too Late on there, it would have been the what's the word I'm looking for? The standard of every WWE game soundtrack. If they would have just put, even though I consider 07 the greatest soundtrack of all time, had they put Never Too Late from 3 Days Grace on there as well, the icing on the cake. So he's probably gonna do a submission move for me because he was wailing on me. Why not use my God? He's not even a technical superstar. He's a dirty superstar. So how is he doing this to me? That's so crazy. Get off of me. Is he gonna use? Yeah. So one of the abilities in submission, thank you, Finley, is that I can immediately reverse any submission move if none of my limbs are yellow yet. So that's one of the abilities. But again, besides, I mean, it was just a perfect lineup for the 07 soundtrack. 3 Days Grace, non-point on there with Bullet with my name on it and Still Alive and Kicking. And then you have, was it Versus the World? Forgive Me. Perfect. Stitches, like it was such a good lineup. 08's soundtrack is fine. I mean, I feel like AM Conspiracy kind of carried this whole soundtrack with Welt and what's the other one? Jesus. I'm drawing a blank. I know exactly what it is. I just forgot the title of the song. God, I'm drawing a. I like the fighting styles. I didn't mind also rebuilding your stamina 2 hours. It was annoying. It was a tap. I mean, playing through both 06 and 07 back to back, it was a lot more faster in 07, but it was kind of annoying. I will agree with you there. This one, you can't rebuild your stamina. It's just organically. I noticed so far you can't really rebuild your stamina in this game. I haven't seen a way. And since CM Punk is a brawler, I don't think. Can you get out the ring? Let me try to get out the ring. Nope. For some reason, submissions, I never understood submission matches. You're not allowed to leave the ring. I guess because since they know it's no disqualification, people would take that as advantage. But in the early games, you're not allowed to leave the ring. Why? I don't know. So I guess I'm gonna attempt to I guess I could do one of my finisher, which is a submission, by the way. The Anaconda Vice, and I was gonna show off his ability. Oh, I guess why not? Come on, bro. Finley's reversal stat must be very high, because you can't do nothing. Even though he's a dirty fighting type, that's very strange to me. Huh. Okay, now that we got him on the ground, at least I thought. I'm trying to do a submission move, guys, so we can... Of course, he hits the Celtic Cross out of nowhere. Again, these finishers, while I did like the idea of them coming out of nowhere, 24/7 mode was so bad and long and boring. We're gonna get to that once we get through the fighting styles. I was pretty much gonna save 24/7 mode for last, since that was gonna be the majority of the rest of the thing I want to talk about. Because there's so much to talk about with 24/7 mode. It's such a, again, I think the problem is Chris Benoit. I know all roads lead to Chris Benoit. I have a theory, and I believe Wrestling Bios touched up on it. I definitely be around for more live streams, supporting smaller channels. Oh, I appreciate you stopping by. Like I said, I just want to do something different in the community. But like, stuff's been like, we've reached a point where everyone pretty much does the same thing, just try and bring something different to the table. And Finley once again with the Celtic Cross. Best, and luckily he's not smart enough to do a submission, at least not yet. But luckily I can reverse it. I think my only issue with this game, unless I'm crazy, I'm gonna try something real quick. How does Finley have this good of a reversal rate? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how does he have such a good reversal rate? He shouldn't. Like, what is going on? But what is your favorite memory of this game, Slade Babyface? Besides, I mean, obviously, I see you're not a fan of 24/7 mode. As a kid, though, I like the idea of the, because 2007, my issue with 2007 season mode, even as a kid, I felt like there was no end goal to it. You complete one side, you're going to get traded back, and then you're going to do, I was trying to wait, nope. My issue with 07, there was really no ending to it. And while OE does have an ending, at least there's a goal to be achieved. Because what happens with 07 is you do one thing. Okay. Even though I won't be able to properly show it because Finley is really acting like a dick. Essentially, that red you see, it just heavily makes the opponent. It just increases the submission on your opponent. That was essentially it. But that's just the submission side. Never understood why you couldn't get out the ring for submission matches. Never made any sense to me. Also, the last game had Booker T for quite a while. Forgot about that. We're gonna be looking at the roster briefly as well. Okay, now we're going to do a for this demonstration. Which match for this demonstration? I believe, kind of want to, I don't know how these games are. We're just gonna do a regular match. I want to show off the high flyer, and the best person to show off the high flying is the returning Jeff Hardy, who has not been in a WWE game since Shut Your Mouth. He was supposed to be in Here Comes the Pain, but was taken out. And we're facing William Regal. just pick backlash. We'll just skip the entrances. Again, I always just liked these as a kid. I always thought like when you created your superstar, you'll have one for yourself, but that was not the case. So with high flyers, obviously the biggest thing is springboarding. You can, wow. You have two different variations, essentially while they're up or while they're down. And I believe there's also the corner springboard too. I can double check on that. I'm not 100% sure of the corner springboard, but I'm about to see. It's either a corner springboard or while you're I'm about to see. 1 second. The main things are obviously just the springboard attacks itself, which... God, Regal! I'm about to be Samoa Joe. Oh, I forgot. He's technical. I should have saw the icon. When you're a technical superstar. Oh, there you go. The dodging. See that? This is only for a high flyer. I always thought that was cool. At least I can get out the ring now. Jeff Hardy's a hardcore person, too. Nice 450. I knew it wasn't over, so I knew I would be fine right there. See, seriously, I feel like Jeff Hart, I mean, I get that they would add him as hardcore, but he's kind of a brawler, though. I consider him a brawler. Let me just wait until he gets up. You see, it's different. Well, it's just one when you're up and one when you're down. God, it's these people are like these technical stats of these superstars are something else. Oh, I forgot I had interference on, so Matt Hardy, help out. Even though I feel like it would be a DQ if he does help out. Let's see. Or does this referee not care? I guess we're about to find out. Does the referee even care? Will I get DQ'd? I hope not. Actually, I can't risk that. Yeah, Matt, distract him. Don't hit him. Will he get DQ'd if he gets attacked? Even though, have we reached that point where the games are actually current? So, okay, he knocked me out, but I'm about to use Playing Possum, which is the High Flyer's special ability. Hopefully. There we go, yep. I can now... I doubt, I mean, although I think he's going to kick out, unfortunately, but that's essentially the High Flyer's special one. And I believe I can do running dives. Let me try that. I forgot. That is one thing I didn't think of doing. Yep, running dives. Even though technical superstars can just do a standing, that makes no sense. Again, they just want to give technical superstars something. Like Matt Hardy is a technical superstar and they want to have some type of dive, so I understand that part, but it's like, come on. Come on, bruh. We're just gonna get out of that. Okay. Hopefully fast. Swan Ton. What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Jeff Hardy, what in the hell was that? That did not work out the way I thought it would. I guess you really had to be facing the guy. Huh. I don't believe there's corner. Let me see. Nope. Yeah. Nope. We're not at that point where you can have corner springboards. Oh, that smart roll pin always got me mad when computer does it. It comes out of nowhere. I mean, as long as you had the HUD on, you should be seeing it coming. The playing possum, yeah. Like right now, I'm probably about to do it again. If I don't get up in time, I'm probably gonna do it again. He's damaged enough where it should work. See, right here. Got him. Hurry up, ref. Jesus, move with a purpose. There we go. Let's try this swanton again. Come on. There we go. That's how it should be done. I don't know what the hell that first one was. If he kicks out of this, I'm going to be shocked. I can't even drink my coffee. Huh. Rico's actually putting up a fight. I believe he has the extreme twist of fate. Let's try. Oh, come on. Yep. Wait, I gotta turn him around or something? Does he not have the extreme? Am I tripping? Does he not have the extreme twist of fate as his finisher? Or do I have to turn him around just to do it? Whatever. End it. There we go. All right. We got through there. Now I can drink my coffee. I believe there's only like 3 left if I was counting correctly. Dirty, Showman, and Hardcore, I believe, unless I'm really drawing a blank. So for the case of the, we're going to do Dirty. We'll just do a TLC match, because why not? The best Dirty superstar to use is probably Edge. We saw Randy Orton. We're probably going to pick Edge. Let's see which one's first for them. Yeah, we'll just pick Edge. Yeah, why not? Johnny Nitro put up a fight. Judgment Day. And yes, the ECW title is in here. None of the other classic ones. They could have been a good opportunity. Although I don't think they really thought the ECW side through, especially with the whole Chris Benoit situation. They probably just, okay, we just gotta get him out quickly. Can't do anything else. Since it's TLC. Oh yeah, they placed the table over there. Okay, now. Okay, John Morrison. It shouldn't be. I'm about to say it should be no title up there because it's not like the title's on the line. Come on, Morrison. We briefly touched this area last time, but I just haven't had to. We didn't really experiment through it in the previous game, 2007. Because this is actually the very last time we're gonna see this spot in a WWE game, and it'll be years, almost a decade, until the next time you can actually fight in the crowd. There'll be a way for you to get in the crowd through a certain action, which we'll eventually get into, but this will be the last time you can actually fight in the crowd for quite a very long time. Oh, spear. That works. Is Edge is a is he hardcore? Is Edge hardcore? No, he's dirty and either a brawler or a showman. I don't know. Edge. I guess one way to figure out if he's hardcore. What is? Yeah, that's actually a good question. I didn't even really check on. God, John. Okay, Johnny. One way to find out is to. Want to at least climb up this. Come on, yep, come on, John. Get over here. A little bit closer. A little bit closer. Come on. Don't be dumb. Come on. God damn it. I thought I had enough room. I should have known. Oh, now he wants to move to this side. Great. Is he that? Come on. He's such an asshole. He purposely waited. I mean, it was smart of him to do that, but that is such an asshole move to do. I injured half of my body, and I have not even showcased none of the hardcore abilities yet. Probably getting into doing that. He can't submit me out here, can he? Come on, lockpick. All right. Obviously, this spot was a bad idea. Especially since I jumped over that. I gotta get the heck. At least, I mean, the AI is smart since he knew I damaged my back. Why not work on my back? So that makes perfect sense. Okay. Forgot to showcase this, but yeah, you can grab... No, Edge is not a hardcore... Oh, come on. Okay, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm getting the hell out of here. Oh, Randy Orton. Thank God. I forgot how to grab the ref. It's one of these buttons. I didn't mean to attack you, ref, but yeah. I believe it's the L. Is it L1 or R1? What are you climbing up for? There's nothing up there. And for that reason, you're going down. Oh, I think it is the R1 button. We're about to find out once he gets up there. And thankfully, Randy Orton could help me. I don't know why he's just climbing. Orton, do something! Good Lord, Orton. And that's why he's doing his finisher on you. God, Nitro is something else. He is steamrolling. I did not think Nitro put up this much of a fight. Oh, good Lord. Okay, let me just get out the ring real quick. That was not, obviously, a good idea. Or not. Why does nothing ever work for me? Edge, you suck. Come on, ref. Grab the ref. Grab the ref. How do I grab the ref again? I could have swore it's like, is it not the... It's like, I thought it was like A. Unless it's like L. I genuinely forgot. Huh. I know I can grab the ref, quote unquote, but how does he already have another one? This is not good. Like, at all. How does he already have another one? Randy Orton, can you do something? Thank you. Good Lord. Unfortunately, when you taunt as a dirty what is Edge? What else is he? Is he a technical superstar? He doesn't act like one. He's not a high flyer, and he's... Is he a brawler? Is that what it is? Maybe. Let's see. He's not a brawler. What the hell is Edge? I think he is a technical superstar, now that I think about it. Got him. Orton, you have a... Orton. Why did I call you out here? You're just giving him weapons, aren't you? This is probably like the worst demonstration I can show a dirty superstar, as everything is completely backfired on me. But he is tired now. So now it's my chance, even though I have gotten my ass handed to me. Can I just cheat to win? I'm getting out of here. Or not. Just hit him. Or thank you. Simple stuff like that. And that's all you're going to do? Is he leaving? No way. Thanks for nothing? I'm done. Well, that was a perfect demonstration. We'll never trust a Viper. That good for nothing piece of crap. Well, we're gonna ignore the dirty aspect, but basically, to make a long story short, actually, you know what? I'm going to do you guys a solid. 1 second. Since we'll do you guys a solid. I'm just gonna showcase what the dirty one is, since I obviously can't do it due to whatever the hell that was, and then otherwise we have 2 more. I'm just gonna show you a video because I actually forgot how to grab the ref. So we did Powerhouse, we did Technical, we did High Flyer, we did Brawler, we did Submission. So it was just literally 3 left. I'm just gonna show you the video. Fortunately, it doesn't talk, but the super dirty move I had to unfortunately mute the commentary. Let's go. I gotta see this. So yes, that was the right bumper. Okay. Secondary ability, grab the ref. What was the button? A. It was just A? I was hitting A. That is such a lie. That is a lie. Get the hell out of here with that. And argue with the referee. That was pretty much it. So you weren't missing nothing there. Oh yeah, I guess I could have stripped the turbo. I never thought about that. Huh. But yeah, that was essentially pretty much it for these guys. Oh, they got more. Ignore rope breaker. Yeah, get the idea. So yeah, we got 2 more to show you guys, and then we're gonna get on to 24/7 mode. Showman, I guess the Hell in a Cell. Why not? I'm sure. Who's the best showman? Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Matt Hardy, Kennedy, Shane, Shawn Michaels. Why not? JBL, why not? I couldn't even get my coffee during that match. That's they got me good. Johnny Nitro got me good on that one. Now, off the top of my head, the main showman ability is to steal your opponent's finisher. But the thing with the showman that, I mean, people might think I could have swore I hit entrance off, but I guess I didn't. The thing with the showman is that you can actually, if you notice, I was taunting with edge, but my HUD, my momentum did not go up because they specifically only gave it to the showman. And also they have a unique taunt that you can only use on the top rope. Shawn Michaels technical, right? I should have been able to. Well, that was a quick. I believe Shawn Michaels is a technical superstar. How the hell does JBL? Oh, Jesus Christ. Good Lord. Well, time to get out the ring. And yes, this was when the Hell in a Cell was still compact. So you couldn't really grab, or you couldn't grab a weapon. Let's get out the ring. We're going to take this fight up here. But essentially for a showman, you have the ability when you taunt to gain momentum. So that's one of their advantages. I think you can steal your opponent's taunt too. And when you steal your opponent's taunt, they actually lose momentum. And then there's like a unique taunt on top of the turnbuckle, I believe. It started with this game. Hope he fall off. Good. That is a... that was far away. Throw. Oh, come on. Everyone's reverse game is strong. I guess that's what happens when you have it on Legends difficulty. Let me see. Sean is... Yep, he is 100% a technical wrestler. So you think I'll be having an easier time with this. But I'm not. So again, I can steal his finishing move. I believe. Yep, I was. And yes, this is the era where you just throw people off when you're near the spot. I'm not going to risk losing this match, so we're just gonna come back inside. I believe, yeah, this is the unique taunt. I believe it's only for Showman. Yep. See right there. And then I think if you hit that taunt, you automatically get your finisher. So let's see if he comes in. Yeah, if you hit this taunt and then you successfully perform the dive, you automatically get your finisher. And I guess he made sure, yeah, or you lose your momentum. That was the other drawback, as you can clearly see. But luckily, I have, he's just spamming this move, isn't he? I'm hitting the reverse button, but I guess they're not registering it. I'm gonna hit. He saw that coming. I was gonna hit the clothesline from hell and call it a day. He really saw that move coming. Huh, I gotta give him credit there. He knows it's coming. And that sucks. I didn't know this was a move. I hope that's not it.
1, 2.
Whew. Alrighty. We do the smart thing. Get out the ring real quick. Unfortunately, I can't block any of his strikes, and he knows that. Maybe Legend is too much for me at the moment. God damn, he is wailing on me. I just can't do nothing. And now I can't block this. I love how they give you the option that all it takes is one momentum shift. But he's losing momentum. Okay. I guess he's smart to do that. Let's see. I don't think I'm gonna get out of this. He kicked my ass. He kicked my ass. No, I need a rematch. We're not gonna lose on that W. I mean, lose on that W. I am not going to take that L, as the kids would say. I'm not that old. I forgot Candy Michelle's still in this game. Thank you, loading screen. And Michelle McCool Even though I think Michelle McCool debuted in SmackDown Raw 2006, I have not seen her throughout this whole thing. Okay, we are. I'm gonna play this one a little bit more smarter. The dirty one didn't care that much, but this one I know I got. Okay, time everything better. Just be quick about it. Come on, Sean, you're a technical wrestler, so yet one of the advantage is he can't really do a strong. See, he can't do a strong grapple on you in the beginning. Use that to your advantage, which is exactly what I'm doing. If I could just hit that clothesline from hell, I will consider that a win. How does he know when to reverse it? God, he's good. Ha, that's what you get. You hit the referee. That worked. Still, can't touch me. I think when the opponent's on the ground, it's something where they lose momentum while I taunt. I was trying to do opponent's taunt, but I guess it's either up or down. Of course, he hits this move out of nowhere. Hopefully, that's not it. All right. He's just as good at reversing like me. Again, the one thing about the Hell in a Cell, fortunately, there's no weapons you can use in here, but you can sure as hell reverse. I'm going to hit your finisher on you, JBL, and then I'll quit out of it. I'm going to hit the finisher on you, and I'm going to do the clothesline from hell. That's the one I'm going to do. Get up, you piece of garbage. Yes! I hit it! Wait, how did he kick out? How did he kick out of that? I am like perplexed right now. How do you do that? Uh-oh. I have like no words. How did he kick out of that? Because you're not going to sit here and tell me in a straight face there's rope breaks in a Hell in a Cell. Get out of here with that. They really did not follow the rules correctly in this, did they? They just did not. You are not going to... Oh, God damn it. There's no way there's rope breaks in a Hell in a Cell. He's just wailing on. No. No. How did I miss it? Oh, come on. Get out of here. Okay. JBL was never that much of a reversal guy, I don't think. You understand my frustration as to how the heck is he doing this? Gonna use his own finisher to beat him.
One, two, three.
I knew I would get that one. We got one more fighting style because this is the only game that had the fighting style. I just wanted to just showcase to you guys the fighting styles in this game, because afterwards they do not matter. I figured this would be the game to show it. And if we have enough time, we should be able to go 24/7 mode. There's no point in doing GM mode. If I have time, I'll show it. But I don't think there's personally a point in showing GM mode that much, because it's essentially the same thing. But it's greatly less fun because since there's 3 brands and they didn't equate to adding more superstars, the pool, basically, if you're ECW, you're essentially screwed. For all intents and purposes, at the beginning, if you pick a default roster. So I saved the best for last, obviously. There's a brand new match type in this game, ECW Extreme Rules, which is perfect for the hardcore fighting style. And the person I'm going to pick, which I should have unlocked at this point, is Sabu. The only time he's in any WWE game. To make things more interesting, I'm going to pick a hardcore person as well. And we're going to pick Tommy Dreamer. And yes, this was the... We're going to keep him as was, but this was the first game to have the quote-unquote weapon wheel, even though it wouldn't be until years later where the weapon wheel would be accessible through any match outside of Extreme Rules. So just keep that in mind. This is the first one to have the weapon wheel, but it'll be years until you have that weapon wheel outside of Extreme Rules matches. And plus, the ECW Extreme Rules match is confined to the ECW arena, which never made any sense to me, because not like it's a very specific match. Like I guess they wanted to really make the ECW brand feel special, so they have this match tied to it. But then the problem is you can't use this match in GM mode, despite the fact that even if you have the ECW brand, you can't use the match. So, which makes me believe the actual when they put in this match very later in development, or they probably just did not bother putting it in GM mode. Speaking of GM mode, this is also the last time that GM mode will be in a wrestling game under Ukes and under THQ. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it's about weird in terms of like the weapon wheel, or weird in the fact that they only had the ECW match tied into the ECW arena. But even despite that, you can't use it in GM mode. So which weird is that? Just want to make sure we're both on the same page. Blade babyface. And so the one thing about I didn't explain the hardcore person yet. Essentially, all the grappling abilities are tied to the hardcore person. So like Jeff Hardy, for example, can do it, but anyone else, they can't use hardcore moves, grapples. Only the hardcore person. And I don't think there's submission outside, so I should be good even if he tries to submit me. You always try to pick. There you go. Come on, Sabu. There we go. Sometimes your chair is the best friend here. Always liked how they held the chairs in this game with like one arm. God damn it. And as you can see, the fan has a weapon you can take from him. There we go. Just wanted to grab you once. Devin's gonna go in the ring at this point to grab another chair so we can do his high flying abilities with the chair. There are brand new ECW hardcore match not available GM mode. If you are a GM, you said that's why. Okay, yeah. Which never made any sense to me, because like that would have been like an incentive for you to play as the ECW brand. It just never made any sense to me. Okay, it was bad enough the roster pool that they have for ECW, which we'll go with a roster pool probably after this. I guess I could showcase the ECW GM mode just to show you how kind of they screw you if you pick the how did you do that? I only fell once, so I was trying to do this for Sabu, but Tommy Dreamer did it first. You suck, Tommy Dreamer. You're just wow, Legends difficulty. You just reverse everything. most of the time. So trying to do we're gonna do at least a special. When you bleed as a hardcore person, you actually become not only invincible, but you regain, if you were damaged, you're good now, but you become kind of invincible for a little bit of time, I believe. It's either become invincible or your body parts start to work in your favor. I mean, they start to recover. And plus, when you make someone bleed, same process, essentially. You automatically get that boost. So essentially, if you're a hardcore person, you ever bleed, you basically have the advantage. Unfortunately, you can only do it once, so Tommy's an old man. Ain't no way he did that jump on the chair thing. That's what I was... That's is how you do it. And now we do Sabu. Oh, come on. I went down. Oh, one more thing. I forgot. You can light crap on fire. Yes, this is the first game to do that. I believe... What is it? You have to have a finisher? Yeah, you have to have a finisher. Let me get this in the table. Completely forgot to have this in the table. And once you have a finisher, I believe that's when you can set these babies on fire. Yep. So in a sense, the hardcore superstar has two special abilities, like primary abilities in a sense, because you have to hit the R bumper and Y to do that. And Tommy Jr. really took advantage of that. Stealing my freaking burning barbed wire 2x4. Let's set this table on fire. Oh, come on. Yes, just ruin the table spot, Tommy. So although this is Sabu's first and only appearance in any WWE game, Tommy Dreamer, though, he was actually in Raw 2. I mean, maybe some people forget that. He was actually in Raw 2. But yes, he was actually briefly on the roster before he officially came back on a full-time basis when they revived the ECW brand. I believe he was briefly hardcore champion back in like 2002. Or he was just briefly feuding with The Undertaker of all people. Boom. Again, unique stuff like that, it's only for the hardcore person. I'm going to try to set the table on fire. If I still have... There we go. Boom. Someone's going through that table. Even though... Does Sabu have a pickup? I don't know if Sabu has a pickup move, to be honest with you. I guess setting up for him is kind of pointless. But I just want to showcase, yes, the whole fire for the table started here. And of course he reverses my finisher. That should do it. Perfect setup. And yeah, perfect setup for the camel clutch. Come on, submit. Okay, we're just gonna call it. He should be done. I'm about to say it better be no rope break. Whew. So we went through all 8 fighting styles again. I like this Edskin. I still do because it just makes the matches feel different and it makes you really think who you should pick as a counter to someone, especially in multi-man matches. I know some people love it and some people hate it. I Back in the day, I loved this as a kid. I still think it's different, and that's what makes coming back to this game fun. But outside of fighting styles, though, everything else is kind of left. Everything else is left to be desired. Let's say that. Take a brief detour for a second, though, because there was two things I wanted to show you guys. Just take a quick detour. The one, again, it was on every single system. So thanks to Group and Pro, we're going to look at slight differences between all the versions of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. So right here, you see the DS. And yes, I actually had SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 on the DS, and I loved that game. I know it was the touchscreen and whatever, but the fact that I was able to play a wrestling game on the go when I was going to elementary school was always cool. And just show you PSP. PS2. PS2 still look great. The Wii, I mean, it's different. And then the PS3 and Xbox, you're gonna see the graphics of what I'm talking about. How? So yes, the DS. That was the DS. I remember this clear as day. I mean, for 2004 on a handheld, that's not bad. The PSP, it's just there's no one in the crowd, as you can see. At least the PS2 version had some. And again, I had this as a kid in PS2. I thought the PS2 version looked great. And I would argue the PS2 versions of the belt look way better than the PS3 Xbox 360. You're about to see in a second. In terms of how they look, you're about to see. The Wii, this was actually one of the only games they released on mobile as well, not smartphone. I'm talking old school flip phones. I actually do not remember that. If I gotta look up footage on that. I remember they released on pretty much everything. Like, to hear the PS3 version, I didn't look. You see, I get what they were going for. I feel like they're too shiny on the Xbox 360 and PS3. But or maybe just the shine of the PS3. But yeah, no, I prefer how they looked on the PS2, the belts. But as you see the DS, yes, this was how it looks graphically. Then the PSP, obviously, it's something. The PS2 always looked fine to me. Obviously, I played it as a kid, but it always looked fine to me. The Wii was a complete beast entirely. So yeah, so here's the thing. Obviously, PS3 and Xbox 360 were on par with each other, but again, this was during the period where not a lot of people really knew how to develop for the PS3. It wasn't until games like what? Uncharted and The Last of Us especially was like, okay, we can push the graphical capabilities of this game. I mean, of this system. But you could tell, even though they're kind of on par with each other, you're going to see the PS3, and it's just night and day. The lighting on it just makes it so much of a difference. I know a lot of people like the PS3. It's just like, there you go, side by side. The PS3 just looks, the color is gone. The Xbox 360 version, that's why they always marketed the Xbox 360 version. Yes, there was a time in video game history where the Xbox 360 was presented better. I mean, where Microsoft was presented better than Sony. Obviously, those days are past, although if you hear in the news, Microsoft's making a comeback. But there was a time where people, normally companies marketed the Xbox 360 version over the PS3. So yeah. And just side by side for all of them. And just quickly just show you the gameplay. This is what I was rocking this on the DS. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Obviously, the 2009-10 version, which I unfortunately never played, they went away with the touchscreens. But I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Doing this on my DS. Just want to show you the DS and the Wii gameplay at least. Let me show you the Wii. Yeah, it was different. I wonder. No, this is PS2. Where's the Wii? There you go. The Wii one was different. Again, this was the era of motion controls, where they really, you see, not only is the HUD different, you actually have to do the stuff on the motion controls. It was, again, I like going to my friend's house and playing this version and vice versa. They'll play the definitive version to play. But I like this version. And this was the only game that really had this motion control style on the Wii from 2009 all the way to the end of the Wii games, which I believe was WWE 13. They just pretty much used the same controls as the regular ones. I don't know how they did though on the Wii remote, to be honest with you. I don't really know how they did that. And just another thing, since I don't think I'll have time at the end, just wanted to showcase the roster specifically, just because it was the first time I had all three brands. Let's see what we were rocking out with. Bobby Lashley, Candice Michelle, Carlito, Jeff Hardy makes his return. John Cena, the debut of Crying Time with JTG and Chad. King Booger, which is the last time Booker T for a while. Melina, Mickey James, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. McMahon, Randy Orton, Sandman, first and last appearance until literally, 2K24? Shad, Shane, Shawn Michaels, Snitsky, Triple H, Umaga, and William Regal. Yes, I'm not making this up. This is the entire roster. What was it? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 Raw Superstar. This is why I said the roster was very thin. When they added third brand, you'd think they would add more people. They did not do that. Ashley, Batista, Chavo, Chris Masters, Edge, debut of Ashley, Finley, Gregory Helms was in the previous game. I just didn't touch him. JBL, it was the debut of Kenny though. Kane, Mark Henry, Matt Hardy, Michelle McCool, MVP makes his debut, Rey Mysterio, Ric Flair, The Great Khali, Tori Wilson, and The Undertaker. I believe this is Tori Wilson's last appearance, yes? For a while. Was she in 2009? I generally do not remember her being in 2009. In ECW, so the thing is, the DS version had a very specific wrestler. Hardcore Ali was only in the DS version. Never made any sense to me. CM Punk, Elijah Burke, Hardcore Holly, Johnny Nitro, Kelly. I think so. I believe this is her last appearance in the game. Until now, with the DLC. Kelly, Marcus Corvon. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Sabu, Terry Funk, and Tommy Dreamer. Again, the first and only appearance of both Sabu and I believe Marcus Corvon. Elijah Burke is in 2009. And Kelly debut. We already did Divas, the Legends, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero. Again, I would never understand why they made these exclusives, especially since Eddie was literally in the previous game. It makes no sense. I get the incentive of trying to sell someone accounts. I mean, trying to sell people on the PSP, but the PSP out of all the systems was essentially, it wasn't a bad system, but compared to the DS, no one was buying it. So why didn't you put these people in at least the DS version? It makes no sense. Eddie Guerrero, Jim Neidhart, Mick Foley, Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, Sabu, Sergeant Slaughter, Steve Austin, Terry Funk, The Rock. And yes, for some reason, they classify both Tommy Dreamer and Sabu as legends, even though they were active part of the roster. I guess they wanted to have some type of ECW legends. So they had Terry Funk. Never made any sense to me when you saw the exclusives. And so there's that. So now we're going to switch gears back. I'm just going to briefly show you GM mode. The main thing I obviously want to show you guys is, so tournament mode. I completely forgot about this stuff. Yeah, the King of the Ring, beat the clock sprint, which I wish they would see. I wish the current games, even though they don't have these match type, they don't do these match type anymore. They bring them back. They brought back the Inferno match. Why not bring back this one? King of the Ring, beat the clock sprint. Yeah, just like back in the day. This was cool. Wish they would bring simple stuff like this back. Hall of Fame. So this essentially replaced the challenge mode that was in the previous game. So, for example, Royal Rumble, by using any superstar, you got to start at the first entry and win on Legends difficulty. This is how you would earn some stuff. The rankings, and then you go all the way. Just unlock certain stuff to be purchased in 24/7 mode. So, and I believe this is the last game to have this type of challenge mode. Just show you the shop real quick. If you're wondering what these are, this is for 24/7 mode. We'll get to that in a second. Essentially, so you see these are locked. You have to do those Hall of Fame objectives just to unlock them, and then you can buy them. Yes, this is essentially what the Battle Pass is currently, but at least you didn't have to pay real money to do it. And yes, the so that's hilarious. The Attitude Era titles in the game, but not the Ruthless Aggression title. But that's hanging above the ring. You cannot make this stuff up. And also, for some reason, they had a WCW title, even though there's no WCW representation in this game. Not really. The movesets and the DX animations. Even though Triple H and Shawn Michaels have their attires, you would have thought with the attires, their interest animations would be unlocked too. And yes, you can have Ball Vince, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and JBL, which I already bought. Oh, yeah. So that's my point. I bought these, so why weren't the entrance? So stupid. And then Vince McMahon bald. Now we're going to go into the mode where obviously there was a vision with this mode, but what the final product was sucked. I mean, you can blame one person for it. So essentially 24/7 mode. I don't agree on what they did, like the actual 24/7 mode itself. So you play as superstar or play as general manager. Unfortunately, as you can see, they tied it to one thing. So if you play as general manager mode, you can't play as a superstar and vice versa. So you can't have two separate things going on. You have to pick one or the other, which always sucked. So it's like you have to complete 100% before you go with the other one. Otherwise, you're just killing your save file. It is otherwise the best thing to do back in the day. At least we were on the PS2 to have two different memory cards. And yes, Tommy Dreamer was the general manager because I guess they didn't. Paul Heyman obviously was on bad terms with the company by the time this game came out due to the whole December to Dismember. And that's why also Big Show is going to. You know, he comes back the following year. Who is there? Was there any general manager at this point? Was it Armando Estrada, right? Am I tripping? Huh. I don't remember. We're just going to use the default roster. Again, there's only one title. Bobby Lashley is part of the roster, even though by this point he was on Raw. Which is funny because as you can see, they're actually using the Raw thing right there for this. Makes no sense. We're just going to pick CM Punk. Yes, this is the entire roster, by the way, minus Kelly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people. We're just going to put CM Punk. And then you have Kelly. Good old Kelly. What's the point? So it's like GM mode. I'm just going to show you how they pretty much shafted ECW. Just a quick cutscene.
There you are.
This is the same for Coach and Teddy Long.
Of a lifetime as a general manager here in the WWE. This is where real men manage superstars, and superstars make me a legend. And that's what I expect from you, to become a master of this business. And that's your responsibility.
The idea that Tommy Dreamer is the general manager of
All I can do
ECW.
is give you the chance. It's up to you to make an impact. So what are you waiting around for? Get going and convince me that I did make a mistake by hiring you.
Upon retrace, I misremembered. It was actually SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 for BlackBerry. That'd be a neat one to review one day for sure, if any old emulator. If I could find it, sure. I had no idea it was on BlackBerry. I do wonder how that would look. And does anyone? I'm pretty sure if you look deep enough on the internet, could probably play an emulated version of that. If I look deep enough. But yeah, like I said, the execution of did this game freeze? Did this game freeze? No way. I don't see the loading thing. There's no way this game froze. This game froze. Oh my God. I have this digitally. My apologies, guys. Give me one moment. I'm gonna have to now. Yeah, no, I hear it. The game froze. Despite the fact that it's digital. Huh. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna have to restart my Xbox. That's so crazy. The game froze. Wild. Let's see if it's coming up now. 1 second. I used to hate when it would freeze. Music's still playing. I heard the menu in my. Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. My apologies. At least my webcam isn't freezing. So yeah, yesterday I apologize for technical difficulty for those who was here yesterday. So make a long story. I know you guys don't care about this bad at Lowe's. Why not? The way my computer is set up, I only have very few USB 3.0 ports. My webcam, the Elgato webcam, uses a 3.0 port. I tried putting a 2.0 one, so that's why I was freezing. But then I realized I actually wasn't using the other slot, so I just put it back in there, and we are basically there should be zero. Yeah, see, I'm actually, why not show you guys? I'm actually dressed as the Undertaker. Yes, back when I bought this, you see, I was see that 13 logo again. This was an error, man. That's why people like the Xbox 360. Just side note, just people like the Xbox 360. This was definitely an error. Like I said, I actually own 2008 digitally. I also own it physically as well, but I actually own it digitally. And just, I guess, why not show you guys this? Why not? In terms of, let's see, most man, Xbox 60 so good. Yeah, they don't. It's just like the aesthetic. I think the most was to show you how much I played it. Look how much I was so close to completing all the achievements of 2011. I think the only thing I did not complete 2010 was Mickey James's whatever requirement it was. I didn't feel like doing it, but for 2011, because so these two, I guess, quick side. I know we're going. Why not? Where we're going off topic for a second. Back in the day when I was a kid, I owned 2008 and 9 when they first came out on the PS2. 2008 I bought years later on the Xbox 360 digitally, as you can see, but I owned these two first on PS2. It wasn't until 2010 when I officially transferred over to Xbox 360 to play the games on there. I think mainly because for create a story, there was more cutscenes in them, so like more of the cutscenes you could fill up. So I wanted to make sure I had the maximum amount when you could create a story. We'll get to that in 2 days. But yeah, just transfer when I have Legends of WrestleManias 2007. Good times. So yeah. How does a digital game freeze? I can understand the physical one because of the disc. So actually, Slade and hopefully I'm going to pronounce your name. I see Gaijin at the end, so I'm just gonna call you. Is it Americaijin or America Gaijin? America Gaijin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Which system did you own 2008 on? Again, I had it on PS2, I had it on DS, and I have it on 360. So yes, I bought it 3 different times. That last one. Okay, so I said it right. America Gaijin. Okay. The PS3. How was the experience like on PS3? Again, I had the PS2 version. I showed you. I guess the biggest difference was that first person point of view. Oh wait, nope. I'm not gonna get content ID. Even though yes, we're hearing the music, I'm not gonna get content ID on that. No sir. Let's see if I can go in. Otherwise, I'll try the other story mode. Let's see if I can just get into general manager mode without them screwing me. No, you see this? When I got, it felt the same like the Xbox 360. I just never understood why it looked like that on PS3. It's just like the colors would dried out. I mean, to be fair, the PS3 itself was a very weird system. Like, you know, capturing gameplay on it too, you had to go through the specific because PS3 just made things difficult for people. I think it was till PS4, like, okay, we're just gonna have the same stuff on there. They made stuff so difficult on PS3. Obviously, it didn't help where the glorious, infamous $5.99 US dollar price tag didn't help much in this launch of it. I played on PS2 and PS3, and I vaguely remembered Wii, but I wasn't a fan of controls. PS2, very good. Like I said, it was fun. Like I went over to my friend's house to play the Wii, and they vice versa. They will play the PS2 version. So just quickly show you, there's basically, I'm not really going to go into much of the mode because everything that was in 2007 is in this game. The only difference is that, again, it's ECW, has the fan support obviously is 3. So he divided the viewership as well. I think the only thing holding in like the Power 25, all this good stuff, progress report. So this is, again, the goal is to not only beat the person at the end of the year. So again, there's no ending to this. The real ending is completing 100% the general manager of the year, essentially who can get it first, which is essentially really just you. And then you have a bunch of goals set. Again, I understand the ambition, what they were trying to go for, but just the execution was all. But in terms of the goals thing between the two, I have no issue with general manager mode. It just sucks because they're basically have to create more superstars to get the most fun out of this mode, because since the roster is literally divided into 3 with not a lot of people, it kind of sucks. Then SVR 09, I got that for the 360. Yeah, I didn't get it on 360. So until a couple years ago, my experience was only on the PS2. I started Xbox from SmackDown Raw 2011 online. So I last played online, like on a regular basis, was WWE 12. Cause back then those servers were fine. 2K15 was the first and last time I played under 2K, and I just did not care anymore. I stopped being an online person. So yeah, just stuff like that. Was the shop. That's where you buy the stuff. That. Financials, that's when we'll eventually get to it. The GM desk, your rivalries. Again, it's just essentially the same stuff. storyline riders. You can buy it. So again, it's virtually the same. I'm not going to show you much. But I really want to show you how much they scrapped ECW. Now, to be fair, this was a perfect opportunity. I know the foresight of this. Since they owned ECW, they could have put classic ECW arenas as pay-per-views. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. So there's only one pay-per-view dedicated. Well, there's 2 pay-per-views dedicated to ECW that are officially. Otherwise, just some regular show, a Sunday show that's just the arena, same one. There's only 2 shows dedicated to ECW. Is One Night Stand and where is it? December to Dismember. So outside of that, ECW is pretty boned. They try to give you the same equal amount for your shows in terms of pay-per-views, but it's like, yeah, you're pretty boned if you're ECW. Even we got shafted with the roster back when they would sell DLC. And oh, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry, we're getting close to that. Tomorrow, I'm gonna talk about the DLC briefly because I didn't have for Xbox 360 PS3, but we're really gonna get into the weeds starting with 2011. Don't worry, we're gonna get into the DLC. I've been waiting to get to that part. So yeah, there's not really much to show you. I just want to show you that for GM mode. If you like ECW, play this mode. Otherwise, just play 07. That's the definitive general manager experience. Yes, it's only 2 rosters, but to get the authentic general manager experience that everyone loved, that people wanted to come back, and it's like, I guess the developers just heard they wanted GM mode back in name and not the actual mode itself, but we'll get to 2K22 when we get to it. The last thing I pretty much want to show you guys is 24/7 mode. We're just probably going to play 1 match in 1 week, but just show you the ambition. So unlike last year, where it's a very specific set of superstars, similar thing here, but there's basically no ending in last year's season mode in 07, because once you complete WrestleMania on one brand, they're going to trade you to the opposite brand, do the same exact thing with those specific stories. So there was never an ending. This one, there is a definitive ending, that has become a Hall of Famer. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to pick the main cover person, as I tend to pick, is Undertaker. And you have 2 choices. So you could just pick the original or the 24/7 one, which you start basically at 0 stats. If you pick 37. If you pick this one, you're going to be starting off on heat, and it's going to suck. You might just pick the, and no, you unfortunately could not pick any ECW superstar. So not even Bobby Lashley. So basically, how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's only 20 superstars you can pick. None of them are ECW, and not counting your creative superstar. So that's nice. My dream game would combine 07 and 08 graphics and beautiful menu 08. Like, again, aesthetically 08 is fine, and I never had an issue with 08. I am a 08 apologist. And beautiful menu combined with the gameplay of 07. Why can't we have it all? When you do a yearly release, you're kind of just either you have two goals: either just keep the gameplay the same or try to keep reinventing yourself. So that's why I respect Ukes and THQ back then. Every year they try to make the game feel different, so if it doesn't feel like you find the same game twice. We'll get to the point where you're buying the same game twice in 2K, but we're not there yet. We're just gonna pick the Undertaker or pick the original. Just gonna show you the presentation, just 1 match and what you could do for a week. Again, I understand the ambition of it, but the execution, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Obviously, there's a rumor that Chris Benoit completely screwed up the whole system. So, the whole story mode of it. So they had to basically make it nonsense. So I understand that. And like, even the intro starts out strong. This is so cool. Obviously, Undertaker would never act like this, but we're just gonna ignore that. Like, this is so cool. It had so much going for it.
This moment will live forever.
This is what you want, isn't it? 80,000 screaming WWE fans.
Like, I always got pumped up. I heard that rumor. Sex was true. I mean, I believe it because if you look at the ECW story, it's so nonsensical.
You're gonna have to prove it to me.
Like Bobby Lashley as the main part, it makes no sense because obviously Chris Benoit was supposed to be ECW. Like, none of this makes any sense.
And superstars become legends. And that's what I expect from you.
Even though Undertaker, you would argue, is probably a legend at this point anyway. But
That's your responsibility, not mine. All I can do is give you
obviously, this cutscene is meant for a creative superstar, but you get the idea.
to make the impact.
And I like the little stuff they added to, like the openings and what it was like. It was so good.
To WrestleMania,
Hopefully, I can like briefly show that. But
you're gonna have to beat the best. The best from Raw.
it's like there was a concept that they had in their minds, and I feel like they would because of the essentially. I feel like what happened was the last 2 months of development, they had to just pray to God they was able to get every single ounce of any mention of Chris Benoit in this game. They couldn't focus on probably finishing what they with this. And like he's supposed to be a big deal. People like MVP Mark Henry are not playable, which is weird. In this mode, I don't know why. Like I said, the fact there was only 20 people to begin with, there was much more to this mode than what initially happened, clearly. So basically both General Manager mode and 24/7 mode essentially have the same menus. Like but it's just now it's for Superstar. And I like the progression. The more you be, this looks like a rundown gym locker room. But the more you progress, become a legend, you get better room. Like again, I like the build. Same thing with General Manager mode. I like the progression. It felt like you were doing something. There's so much to this that they could have done more. So Vince McMahon, blah blah blah. So again, because of where I'm positioned, you get a #1 contenders shot. Even though, spoiler alert, the championships literally do not matter in this mode because again, what happened. And I like this WWE magazine thing. Just brief talk about the current rivalry that's happening here. So there's that. What other stuff here? The health report. We're gonna get into this. Superstar info. Hour 25, same thing. Progress report. Again, this is unlike 07. There is a definitive into this. You got to become a legend. So do a bunch of stuff. Most popular superstar. Beat the #1 superstar. Championship defenses. WrestleMania, so you make sure you get on WrestleMania, like all this cool stuff. I understand what they were going for. I really do. And now the menu. This is a very similar menu to GMO, but what I did not show you, see I'm on SmackDown. So I could just skip the SmackDown, but I'm not gonna do that. Instead, you have 4 options actually. Training exercise, where this is really just for a creative superstar for the most part, although you could use the wrestler. Essentially just bring up your stats, but if you're already like 98 like the Undertaker, there's no need to. Skills improvement, this is where again, more so to build up your superstars or just get some money or just build up your popularity. And then the events and activities, this is always the fun stuff on your days off. So for example, you go on a trophy date, let's see if I is a success. So you got 5+ fan popularity, get yourself higher in the rankings. Man, that always bothered me. Teddy was always like, when X Match get a title shot, and it would be forgotten until months later. I know, it's because I think what happened was, and now leading up to the show, he's trying to do like, I think what happened was they had a vision of story mode, but because of Chris Benoit, they was like, no, we need to remove every single thing about this man. The game is done as it is. It is what it is. We just have to remove, because it happened so late. Because again, for those who don't know, these games used to come out October or November. Normally these games were done and for like 3 months, and it would just be 3 months of beta test. Normally these games would be like done in like August, so they have September, October, November to bug test the game. That's why back in the day some of these games were for the most part bug free, because this is back when there was no such thing as patches. Whatever you put out there is whatever you put out there. So those 3 months were dedicated to just bugs and just making sure everything was good. So August was pretty much the cutoff point to when this game was going to be finalized. The whole Chris Benoit situation happened in like either June or July. I believe it was June, if my memory serves me correctly. It had to be June. It was definitely June. So those 2 months of probably finishing up anything left in the game was dedicated to making sure there was no reference of this man. So those 2 months that probably could have been put into this mode and finish what they were probably starting for, it just did not happen. And then he's basically telling me he would do a promo. So, and then I could evade ECW show as well if I really wanted to, and just attack one of these people. I love Batista's on this show. Hey, long tonight you'll be fighting against yourself because you're the Undertaker. That's funny. I love the idea that Batista's on this show. And Jeff Hardy. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, now I'm stuck doing this, but I'm not. We're just gonna skip we're just gonna skip everything here. So I evade the show. It was a success, even though I didn't attack any of the matches. So I got 3 fan popularity. You do all this stuff. So you get the idea. Now we're going to see what actually happens on the show. Obviously, I'm with Mark Henry because he wanted to be buddy-buddy, I guess. And we're going to see what happens here. And even though, so I always find it hilarious, even though you're the Undertaker, you can actually be the opposite person. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. And yeah, I love all this intro stuff. It's like, I know it breaks kayfabe, but it's like, yeah, just doing this. Even though I'm a good guy, so I don't know why I'm acting like a heel. Small stuff like this. Yeah, this is just pushing MVP. So essentially, most of these people are going to be featured in the storyline. Normally, people you interact with backstage outside the Divas, of course, are going to be featured in the storyline. There's that. So again, we're not even going to actually play the match. Like, I just want to show you is really the cutscenes, and then basically there's a way to cheese. Essentially, if you just want to lock this stuff and hit 24/7 mode, that's why I said I don't think they really had the foresight to really put what they wanted to do in this mode. So it's to essentially like cheese the game and literally just not play it. I get good luck. I mean, I guess I could just beat the hell. Why not? Yeah, let's just beat the hell out of Gregory Helms real quick. Again, the ground and pound. I really wish it would come back. Simple stuff like that. Just wail on them. Well, I mean, they made sure to bring the combos back. Like, simple combos like this, I have no issue with. Combos in the current game, again, this is not freaking Street Fighter. Like, a simple combo like this makes perfect sense. But when you want to go all full-on Street Fighter and Tekken, that's where I have an issue in the current games. I mean, they kind of, they fix it to a point, but it's just still. As I said, it's like the current games, it's like Ukes were people who made wrestling games. That's the difference between developers of here and now. The people who developed the games Ukes back in the day, they knew how to make wrestling games. They developed wrestling games other than WWE. Visual Concepts, they know how to make sports games. Again, that's why I feel like sometimes these games just have, it's a game that just so happened to have wrestlers in it, but it's not a wrestling game. It's something, all right. Is it a wrestling game or is it a Street Fighter game? I don't know. Okay, Gregory. But yeah, it's just the current state of the game, but we'll eventually get to that point. Oh, give him. I think this is the last game to even have Gregory Helms. I mean, although I know his hurt, I think this is the last game in a while. Because is Hurricane even in? Is Hurricane even in 2009? No. I don't even. Obviously, he's supposed to be in 2011. We'll get into that, but I don't recall Gregory Helms being in 2009. I could be wrong though. Yes, Undertaker does that neck breaker in real life. Gregory Helms giving me a harder time than I originally thought, to be fair. Oh, come on! Yeah, it's not happening. Stop this nonsense. Maybe because Undertaker's in the opener. And that's why he's not really trying. I feel the Undertaker, they put you in the opener. I hope developers change one day. Used to buy every year, now wait until it never ends up on free on PlayStation Plus, and then not playing too much use was the best. It's like, here's the reality situation, especially in the climate of video games. Unless 2K really, and I mean really screws the pooch in one of these games, they're never going to change developers. The game could be even, as long as it's functional and my faction is still pouring in money, they're not going to change developers. It's making too much money for very little effort. That's what it is. They would have to basically have a 2K20 situation. I know people are trying to pretend like 2K26 is 2K20. It's not. Just because you hate again, I know it's going to sound like I'm defending them. Just because you hate microtransaction doesn't mean the game's not functional and working. Oh, it's working in the right places, so that's why they don't. And the people that are buying it are enough where it's not affecting sales, and thanks to their never-ending microtransactions of the 2 modes that are in those games, they would have to like really screw up. Like, the game is basically unplayable. That was not the case with 2K26. It was buggy, sure. Every 2K game is buggy, but it wasn't unplayable. And now look, despite the fact that I won, this way, sometimes the games are nonsensical. Despite the fact that I won, it looked like I lost. Like I said, it's just, obviously they didn't really probably patch or bug test this mode the way they wanted to, because all their focus was just making sure that Chris Benoit was not in the game anymore. Which that's why I give this a pass. Obviously, as a kid, I never mind this. I just like seeing those cutscenes. But obviously, when you're an adult and just looking at it objectively, it's like, yeah, well, what the fuck were they doing? And now medical report, like stuff like this, yeah, that tell me to relax. So now I know the next couple of days I should do some R&R. But basically, and then sometimes the magazines update as well. The SmackDown cream rises to the top. There's some funny stuff in there when you really read it. So essentially, when I say cheese it, you could essentially skip all the way to WrestleMania. And you're going to see, I always sometimes do this just for the giggles. See, I already have 2%. I know it's going to take a minute. But you can stop anytime, but like we're just essentially, I think there's like 2 unavoidable cutscenes that you have to go through, but you can essentially skip all the way to WrestleMania. As a kid, I love 2008, still love it, but I can look back and object, yeah. Like, again, no, in terms of, let me be clear. Gameplay wise, I am on the side of, I had no problem with the fighting styles, because again, I have no problem when a game, because it's a yearly release too, I respect Yuke's making a different game from the game before, because it gives you a reason to not only buy the next game, but go back and play this version. Because we're still in the era where every game is unique in its own right. So you can go back and play SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, you have a completely different experience than the next game, which is 2009. And so I will always respect that. Obviously now as an adult, I can like, yeah, there is some stuff that happened, but partly it's due to the Chris Benoit situation. Nothing they could do with it. It should have been much better. But like, as a kid, which I'm assuming that's hopefully a lot of the people they would buy it for was kids who were just people watching the product. I never really noticed the flaws of this, but obviously now I do as an adult. But back then I loved it. I was like, oh crap, Undertaker interact with all these people. I could do all this stuff as a kid. Like, this was stuff. And now the Legends progress. Racing by Heart. What's up, man? You're tuning in for the first time. I don't recall seeing your name here in the chat, but you probably been, I don't know if you were watching just in general. This is a 25-day event where we're going through the entire history of the main WWE games, just to see how we got to 2K26. Are you still wrestling in Philly? I'm not a wrestler. I feel like you got the wrong guy. Racing by Heart. I'm actually from Philadelphia, but I'm not a wrestler. So I feel like you got the wrong person. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I have a wrestling channel, but I'm not a wrestler. That is very much. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a wrestler either. As you see, yeah, just going through it and you see the progress bar. So obviously when you're winning some matches and if you lose some, The more you win, the progress bar will go up. We're just gonna see we're almost at WrestleMania. I just want to see how it ends. I just want to see how much progress I made, and then I think it's every 25% or every 10. It's either every 10 or 25% your locker room changes. I do distinctly remember that. We're almost there. Let's just stop. Stop. I think we got enough of that, so you get the idea. I just want to show you progress report. Actually, we might as well go to WrestleMania. So you see, I won 3 pay-per-view victories. All this stuff adds to it. All this stuff adds to most power. Actually, why not? I'm just curious. What I'm really curious, I never knew this. If we go to WrestleMania, if I'm not champion, is it the same storyline as I originally started? That's what I'm more curious about. Actually, true. I sometimes go back and play Here Comes the Pain 06. They all have insane replayability. So unique. I never go back and play. Again, we're going to get to really certain. So it's funny. Again, I planned this event for 2 months. I've done research. I have stuff scripted a certain way, like in term format a certain way. There is one game which I can definitively say, and I'm gonna let you guys guess. There is one game, yes, it's a 2K game. There's one game in the 2K series that basically started a trend of there is no reason to buy this game if you already own the previous game. There's literally no reason. I'm not gonna tell you which one it is. There was one game in the series where it was like, if you owned the previous game outside of a roster update, there is zero reason, absolutely zero reason to play this game. We're almost there. Yeah, I never thought of it. Again, as a kid, I never thought about it. If I don't have a title and we end at WrestleMania, is the next SmackDown the same storyline? I never would have noticed. Or do I get transferred to, or can you even get transferred to Raw? I don't even remember. I think there is a storyline. If you lose, you have to go to Raw. You know, I love that. Again, I feel like, the fact that ECW is there, I feel like they were going to do more with ECW. I truly believe that. Because there would be no reason for the ECW pay-per-view to be there. I mean, there would be no reason for the ECW show to be there if they weren't going to do anything with ECW. See how something's happening now? I didn't touch it, so I'm curious to see what this cutscene is. I think I'm getting traded. Yep. See? I'm getting traded, even though I never asked to be traded.
Never saw it coming. A vacation. Genius, sir.
Even though I never asked to be traded,
Maybe you need a vacation too.
Absolutely not, sir. I enjoy my time with you. I was just telling one of my.
I would guess 2K16.
Stephanie needs to.
You're gonna see. I'm not gonna say you're correct or incorrect. There is a certain 2K game where there is literally no reason for you to play the game if you own the previous version. So I don't know. I don't even know what the hell Vince said. Actually, let me. Did I get transferred to Raw? I have no idea. I wasn't even paying attention. It's cool, but it's all good. Let me just see. I'm just gonna stop real quick. Stop. Something to look forward to. Yeah. When we get there, there is one game 2K series I can definitively say there is no. Daddy says get.
Sorry if you had the impression that you had some time off, but that's it's just not the case. You've got a no disqualification match against us.
And what date is that? I think we're already past that point, Stephanie. Or it says that's dated what, 1:30? I'm pretty sure we're past that point. Yeah, we're already past that point, Stephanie. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. There's some nonsensical storylines. Something to look forward to see the answer. It's just a game, but yeah, like I can definitely say there's no reason to play this game unless you care about the roster update. There's basically no reason to play this game. We're almost there. The one thing I just want to see, and then we'll wrap up the stream, is after you complete WrestleMania, do they start with the same exact story mode? Okay, if that's the case, it really goes to show when you're a kid, you don't notice this stuff. I'm just very curious. Is it the same exact storyline? It might be a tad bit different. I don't know, but let's see. Okay, I'm at WrestleMania. Am I even on the card? Oh, First Blood. We're not gonna play it though. It's all good. Did I win at least? Did I at least win? Did they at least give me the W? Hopefully. Oh yeah, this is the other thing. Yes, I love these promo packages that they did. It was so cool. Thankfully, they're showing this, even though none of this stuff actually happened. I love how these cutscenes are only in these promo packs. You can't access them in the regular game, like those certain types of cutscenes right there. And Undertaker, like, it's so cool. And with the SmackDown music playing, because it was per whichever brand you were on, these were like, I was so hyped to play the match. Like, I did all this build up to the show, and it's like, hell yeah, hell to the yes. I guess I won. Did I? Yeah, those were so cool. And I feel like even little stuff like that for universe mode would sell the mode. But again, their priorities are on 2 game modes. Let me ask you guys, did you guys ask for a collectible card game in a wrestling game? Or a Sims-like experience in a wrestling game? I mean, I'm not gonna be mad if you say yes. I'm just curious. I certainly didn't ask for that. So I don't know where they got this idea of putting that in a wrestling game and think that people enjoy it. I mean, you have those people that do, and that's why they're spending money on it, but I can assure you, when anyone who plays wrestling game, I don't think anyone crosses their mind they can have a collectible card game microtransaction in my wrestling game. I don't recall ever asking for those, but it is what it is. I mean, again, there's the mobile games. I don't care about the cards in the game. And they want, again, yeah, universe mode could be so cool when first came out, 2011. I still think the best universe mode is WWE 12, or how they went about doing it. But yeah, 2011 was great too. But it's like the original GM's reinstated. I don't even know what the hell the storyline was. Wait, what happened? I don't remember. So again, it's cool. So a fresh start. You see now, see, I'm back in charge of Raw and I'm ready to make a deal. So I have the choice to get traded to Raw, but I can stay on SmackDown. So if I stay on SmackDown, I'm just curious if it's the same storyline as when we first started, which would be absolutely wild. I don't think it is. Let's see. There's no way.
Hey, player.
There is. Oh my God. No way. Hopefully someone different. No way. Please, if it's Mark Henry Gray, I'm going to laugh. I am going to laugh. I never noticed this as a kid. It's the same thing. Now, I would imagine had I win or lost some match, it would be a different direction, but I never noticed this. That is so crazy. Definitely don't care about cards in the game. I'll play W. That's why I said, like, there's places for certain stuff like that. Like, again, if those are why force the main games when, like, it's like, I would have zero issue if they made a completely different game. Like a console game. I would actually probably enjoy it more because it fits that game. You're trying to force a game mode into a game that does not need it, nor does anyone care about it. And that's basically is the problem with those 2 modes. If they were in completely different games, like let's say it was an All-Star 2K Battleground. Sure, I think it would probably be a lot more fun in those games. It'll give those games replay value, but not in the main one. Like, come on, what are we doing? I never noticed that as a kid. I am laughing. So, wow. Okay. That's funny. Huh. And then it's the same cutscenes again. Well, to be fair, I will give them credit. I think they did the right way. By playing every single week, as a kid, you're not going to remember this. You're probably not going to remember this as a kid. So I think it never crossed my mind. A free-to-play game even, and they can make money with microtransactions. Look, I know they're never going to do it because they're not going to take that next step. It's very simple. Remove the card game. No one cares. If you want to sell us alternate tires, just have a simple marketplace, just like in a DLC store. Here's Rhea Ripley's WrestleMania tire. You got to make it reasonable though. For like $2. I know it's going to sound crazy. I know back in the day they're only $1.50. Let's just say $2. Whatever. They would make so much bank. You're putting this extra wall of entry for no reason that no one cares. No one cares about opening packs. No one cares about faction wars, except for these crazy people. But yeah, now I know as an adult, if you played it's gonna essentially be the same mode. I wonder if I was champion. I don't know. But before we adjourn, there's one more thing I would like to show. Give me 1 second. Well, I mean, it's tradition at this point. Where's it? Okay. One more thing. And that is the soundtrack. We always got to go over the soundtrack. These are the days. Yeah, stand up. Again, I personally feel like AM Conspiracy were the MVPs of this soundtrack. They carried it. I don't have an issue with 08, 09 soundtrack. They have some great songs. Get 09 where you get to tomorrow. Egypt Central stole the show for me. AM Conspiracy, again, I like these two songs. I like all these songs. I just feel like they don't mesh well with each other. 07 and the original SmackDown vs. Raw, it was like the perfect playlist. They put just certain songs together. I don't feel like they work together, but like I like AM Conspiracy. So the fact that they had these two songs in there, and I liked Seven Dust as well. So with Driven and Feed, and then Famous, I love this song. You know, they eventually used it for a pay-per-view as well. Famous. And like all these songs are great, but my top three, I can't pick one or the other. And Conspiracy and Right on Time and Wealth, these are just basically one by default. Seven Dust, these are ranked second, and then Famous is ranked third. All the other ones, I like them too. But yeah, great soundtrack. 09 would pretty much be the final one to have a unique soundtrack. 010 does have a soundtrack, but they just borrowed pay-per-view songs and superstar songs. But 2009 basically the last one to have a full authentic soundtrack under the SmackDown vs. Raw series and under THQ pretty much. 10 has a mishmash of pay-per-view songs and which is not a problem, by the way. But like in terms of like a unique curated soundtrack, 09 is going to be the final one. But final thoughts for SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Wait, was a good stream. Been watching videos for the last few months, but first time I catch a stream, good content, man. And yes, I love the old playlist. I still listen to these to this day. Yeah, I told you it's a great time. I appreciate you catch up the stream again, guys. I just want to give the community something different. Hopefully you guys been enjoying it. I know not a lot of people talk about the previous games, but I just feel like I gotta do something different, so I appreciate it. Final thoughts for 08. Again, it's one of those games where it's a divide. Either you love it or you hate it. I'm on the side you love it, but again, as an adult now, I can objectively say yes, there's certain stuff to it. Like as we saw, clear as day, 24/7 mode. There was clearly a vision for it, but it was never saw to the end because of the Chris Benoit situation. That's just reality. A lot of this game probably would have been looked at upon a lot more in a better view if it wasn't for the Chris Benoit situation. So I don't fault the developers for that. They're literally their only job from June. Well, I forgot when it happened, either it was June or July. From June to release day was to make sure this man was not in this game. So because of that, a lot of stuff was affected. So we never truly know what their vision was 08. I still think it's good. I like the fighting styles. It makes you go back. So 6.3 out of 10. For the game, like I said, there's nothing I personally enjoy. I'm not saying it's the greatest wrestling game of all time. Just me. It's just a reason for you to go back to it. So obviously I don't consider it the greatest wrestling game of all time. To this day, I still believe it's I still believe in Here Comes Pain. I lost my train of thought. But this is still a fine game. Again, I will say this. Just you probably wonder like my views on all these games. There's only, and even 2K20 to an extent, these games are playable. At the end of the day, these games are fine. Like there's nothing bad about these wrestling games overall. Obviously, 2K20 had these problems, but once they fixed it, it's a okay there are certain other games that there are games in the series. It's like, oh, who cares? Because they just phone them in. Essentially, after 2K20, they just start phoning in these games, and you'll understand my reasoning behind them once we get to those days. But tomorrow, they listened to the feedback of the other side of people who did not like this fighting style, so they switched it up, and then they also updated the tag team matches because that was long overdue. But the main thing that they did, which is baffling because they didn't advertise it as much as they did the tag team. They stripped what we knew of season mode entirely, and they introduced a brand new mode that people still love to this day that focused on very specific superstars and their very specific journey to WrestleMania. So tomorrow we're going to be looking at SmackDown versus Raw 2009. Arguably the redheaded stepchild of the series. And you probably wonder why I'm saying that. You will talk about that more tomorrow, but special for you, for those who watched live, I appreciate it. So shout out to Slade Babyface, Americajan, who else was here? Racing Heart 101, and Unbroken Flame was here earlier. Appreciate you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow for SmackDown versus Raw 2009. Oh wait, you said I'll say 7 out of 10 being able to play GM mode and story mode at the same time. We'll bump that up a good bit. I honestly think it was supposed to be separate, but they just didn't have time. They didn't have time to do it. And I also think you supposed to play is probably at least CM Punk and ECW side for 24/7 open. They probably just did not have time to do it. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.